Are you a managed service provider, MSP, or do you provide IT solutions for other businesses and you're struggling to convert those prospects into contracts? Then you've landed on the right video, because today I'm going to be showing you how a simple mindset and presentation shift can dramatically change your sales cycle, meaning you will get more people to say yes with less friction so you can get more contracts and revenue. You will be able to address all of their common concerns and objections up front so that you are positioned as a no-brainer, and ultimately you'll be able to do less work to get more people onboarded because you'll be shortening the sales cycle as well. Now, be sure to watch the whole video from end to end to apply all of these concepts in order for it to actually work for your business. And if you haven't already done so, make sure you pick one niche to focus on, which if you haven't yet, go ahead and click the link in the description to watch the video that came before this on how to actually pick the proper niche for your IT services. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. If you're struggling to sell your IT services, it is all because of the way that you are pitching. More than likely, that is what's causing all of this friction. And what's likely happening behind the scenes is there are three buckets that you might be in. Either you're in the education gap, where most of the clients you're talking to, you have to spend an exorbitant amount of time educating them on what it is you do, why it matters, and ultimately what value you bring to the table. Or you are in the awareness gap, meaning you can't explain what it is that you want to do or what it is that you can provide to the right people, meaning you want to get in front of decision makers, people who understand IT or a particular industry as an example. You're not getting the right eyeballs on your stuff. Or there's a growth gap, meaning you're spending all of this time, all of this money, just all of these resources in order to get one or two contracts and just land them. Meaning that yes, maybe you are getting paid, maybe you are getting people onboarded, but it is not an efficient use of your time. And I'm going to show you exactly how to fix this, so stick with me here, because this is where you don't want to be. This is called the MSP gray zone, and this is usually where they kind of go through those bumps where sometimes months are good, sometimes months are bad, but you're never really growing. Now, here's the real problem. Let us say that we wanted to sell MSP services to a dental practice. What a lot of MSPs will unfortunately do, or anybody who's selling really high-level technical stuff, they will focus on the feature set, meaning you're going to say, hey, we're going to give you RMM, we're going to give you patch, we're going to give you encryption, we're going to give you all of these different features, or a backup NAS as an example in here, and they don't understand what that means. To you, it makes perfect sense how you would connect the dots that, yes, if you had a NAS, you could store your stuff securely on site, you would have redundant backups, therefore if power went out, if data failure were to occur, you could go right back to where you want. They're not connecting all of these dots and going straight to that area. You have to do a lot more simplifying on your end to get them to understand the value that you are bringing to the table. Instead, if you were to say, hey, it's $1,800 a month in both instances with these service packages, they might look at the feature set one and say, let me think about it, which means I'll probably never get back to you. Whereas if you said, hey, we're going to secure your patient records so that you can avoid big fines from having some sort of legal data breach, which means we're also going to make you HIPAA compliant. You're going to have redundancy, meaning that let's say the power goes out, your data does fail, in just one button you can go straight back to where you were so that your dental practice is always up and running and you never lose out on missed time. And best of all, you're going to have zero tech issues, meaning that you don't have to be a part-time IT person diagnosing all these different things, and instead you can focus on growing your business. And what I would even do is maybe even anchor that to a specific outcome, meaning, hey, if you're spending 2 hours every week on IT and those 2 hours could be given back to you, that might mean you'd earn an additional $100,000 to $200,000 a year. So my $1,800 a month seems like a no-brainer if you could spend those 2 extra hours doubling your revenue. So then you say $1,800, okay, well, guess what? Same work, but a different offer and a different reaction, because you're probably thinking to yourself, this is the exact same thing that I would have presented, and if I did that, it doesn't matter how big the language shift is, they're still gonna have to think about it. You would be surprised, because right now, if you're pitching all of these huge presentations, if you're having to explain yourself over and over again, if you're having to just convince them to even take the first step, This is what you need to start thinking about, is how you are communicating it. And oftentimes it might be as simple as translating it into a language they understand. Because if you're selling features, if you're selling tech, you might as well be speaking an alien language to most business owners. Now, 3 key shifts need to occur for this to work. Number 1, we are no longer selling features. It doesn't matter if your website says trusted IT partner, a bullet list of IT services on the proposal, all the different partners that you're utilizing, Cisco, Ubiquiti, AWS, whatever it is you're using in the background, they don't care. We are now selling outcomes. So we're going to be protecting your patient records, keeping you HIPAA safe so you avoid big fines, and there's going to be no system crashes, meaning that you're always operational and always keeping your business up and running so that you're not losing out on patients and additional revenue or whatever it is they're afraid of missing out on. No dental practice, and conversely, one of your clients ever woke up and said, man, I wish our NAS really had Western Digital M.2 SSDs in it and a RAID 4 array and a redundant backup system. I really wish all of our businesses, instead of running Windows 11, they were running Arch Linux. No business owner ever thinks that way, but you're probably presenting your stuff like an IT person to another IT person. Speak like they do. You're not selling your job title. Doesn't matter that you're an MSP. Doesn't matter that you're an IT professional. Does not matter. That comes later down the line. You want to lead with the pain and emphasize the outcome. So instead of saying, well, your outsourced IT team, which every single MSP, every single IT provider is already saying, you're now saying, we're going to reduce your cancellations, we're going to increase your revenue by keeping your systems up and running, and then maybe you could even tack on a third thing, which is like, hey, we're going to get you back those 2 hours that you're spending diagnosing tech issues with your employees. Those are all very, very desirable outcomes. They want more revenue, they want to reduce cancellations, and the business owner probably wants more of his or her time back. They do not care that you are an outsourced IT team. And you are no longer selling technology. Technology doesn't matter in this instance, only way down the line. About 80%, 90% of the process when they're literally going to have all these questions because they just want to ask questions to seem like they're asking the right things. At the very end, then they can ask you what technology, what piece of hardware, what software, why does this matter? You're selling peace of mind as an example. Your team runs, your patients show up, nothing breaks is a lot more enticing of a positioning than saying, we use the latest threat detection tools. Because most of these dental practices don't know that they could be hit with ransomware, they could be hit with phishing, they could be hit with data loss at any moment. They don't know what threat detection tools even mean to them. So it's very important that you're focusing on the actual emotional state, that peace of mind, or whatever it is that you're doing. If you're increasing revenue, if you're making it so they have a better employee leadership relationship, if you're making it so when they go home, they don't have to stress about getting hit with a virus, something like that. You're not selling what we care about, you are selling what they can't afford to ignore. And here's how you want to break this down. We call this the MSP value syntax in the system that we use, which if you don't have a system just yet, you can also click on the link in the description or pinned comment to get a system like this. But you want to translate everything you do into one clear, compelling sentence that business owners understand and say yes to. The easiest way is, instead of saying, we're an MSP, or we're cybersecurity, or we're VoIP, we're a local ISP, you say, if you're this business type, we help you get the result you want in this time frame using this process without friction, even if objection. It's like a game of Mad Libs at this point, and it just needs to be that simple for them to understand it, because you want to wrap all of that in to a compelling format. Let's use our dental example. And we're going to zoom out real quick. If you're a dental office, we'll protect your patient records, your systems, and your reputation in under 14 days using our Uptime Shield process, so that you never have to worry about HIPAA violations, lost data, or tech failures that cost you time, trust, or legal risk without locking you into a long-term contract or disrupting your day-to-day, even if your staff isn't great at tech. Now, if we boil that down, it's a lengthy sentence, but it's exactly how you need to be positioning this. The business type is a dentist. In fact, I don't know why it says law firm, but the business type here is a dentist. You want to avoid HIPAA violations, which is something that they want. They want to keep their systems running. You can use a time frame, 10, 20, 45 days, however long it ideally takes you to onboard the average client. The process, you could call it legal secure, uptime shield, tech build, whatever you want to brand this. Your business type, again, could be anything. In this case, we're just using a dentist. The friction is they're going to ask themselves, well, what are the objections they normally bring up to you during the conversation? Is it a lengthy contract? What about tech headaches? How fast do you respond? And that objection is going to be the big thing that they are piling on at the end. The friction is more of, what do I have to do? The objection is more of, why would I even consider this? So we've had bad IT in the past. Our staff isn't tech savvy. We don't know how to operate this. What happens if something breaks? Calm those objections up front. So again, who it's for. If you run a dental office, it makes it clear who it's built for, no guessing. And plus, when you actually say it's specifically for them, that inherently increases the perceived value or the likelihood that it will work. It's the reason that, for instance, a lot of organizations, if you just say something is for a particular niche, it already can double, triple, quadruple in price. What they get, we protect your patient records, system, and reputation. These are stakes, not IT tasks, but real-world assets, real-world key performance indicators, things that they can point to and say, I don't want that, or I do want that. That is where you have to actually be a part of the conversation. Time frame. You always want to set a clear expectation. Amazon is a $1 trillion company, not because they can just put stuff into a box, but because when you click buy now, it shows up 2 days later, how many stops away it is on the truck, and they send you a picture of it on your front porch. People want to know what the expectation is. Is this going to take 6 months? Is this going to take 6 years? Is it going to take 6 days? Your process, name it something, give it structure. It sounds like a product, not a service list. Hence why people will buy, they'll spend millions on workout programs, Bowflex, Peloton, TRX bands, fitness membership. Whereas if you just said, yeah, you're going to eat right, you're going to work out, and then you'll lose the weight. A lot of people will put so much more mental equity into something that has a branded name. Plus, it sounds like it's a system that is more likely to work for them. You want to remove the friction. So without locking you into a long-term contract or disrupting your day-to-day, you want to destroy those objections. It's like a game of whack-a-mole. Hit them beforehand because it sounds like you've experienced this. That makes you perceived as a more experienced, more thought leader, somebody who has gone through this process before. You're not just giving them a custom plan. We want to avoid a customization. Customization costs us time, costs us money. It's not scalable. And then finally, hit them with the big objection slap, which is basically at the very end, you want to preempt the big defense. That is the big whack-a-mole, which is what is the thing that most of your clients say when they get through 90% of this process that you can just say, hey, even if you're not great at technology, we got this. Something that you can basically say it. This becomes the foundation of your MSP, first MSP offer. And now we want them to make it, we want to make it a no-brainer for them to say yes. This is where we can start to add offer enhancers or MSP offer multipliers as an example. Check this out. So here are a few of these that you can stack on. And go through these. If you want to take a screenshot of this, this is a good spot to take it, or you can also just click below to get the system as well. But if you want to fill this in, like fill in the blanks, time to value. The shorter it is, the more value you'll be perceived than your competitor. If I can get something in 10 days versus 30 days, people will pay twice as much for that thing. Mini wins. Give them something for free or of high value up front, or give them an early win right at the beginning. So free security scorecard in 24 hours. You know, free data defense tool set, free something. Or if it has to be a low ticket item, something that's under $100, just give them a mini win. Even if it's congratulations, you've taken the first steps that most of your business competitors never even take. Here's why that matters. Give them a pat on the back, but they want a mini win. Naming. Brand your offer like a product. It sounds valuable and unique. If you have a system that's incomparable to your competitors, in this case simply by naming it and packaging it this way, then that can be charged double, triple, quadruple than what your competitor would be, because you're selling a blueprint for success. You're not looking at it and going, well, how much money do you have to spend? How many computers do you have? What do you have right now? Do you have data backup? You're going to ask them a million questions when they're looking to you for guidance, especially if you're going to be tapping into the pain at the beginning. So Bonuses, add extra resources, anything you can add to increase the value overall. So if there's like free guides, coursework, homework, tools, some sort of thing like hey, this summer we're doing this extra add-on only for this time. It allows you to get XYZ result. It could be a widget, could be content, could be a guide, something. Let's say, for instance, that we had a HIPAA checklist in a dark web scan, meaning we're going to go out there and we're going to see if any of your data records have been breached and also give you the next steps to take, which also usually leads naturally into a bigger upsell as well. Scarcity. I know how many MSPs say they want 1 million clients overnight and that they just want to make a bunch of money and get an exit strategy. You likely only have a certain amount of clients that you can take on board. Use that to your advantage. If you can only take on 3 contracts every month, tell people that. You would be surprised what a ticking time clock will actually do. Scarcity and conversely urgency are a huge motivator. 24 hours left, 7-day fire sale, first 100 people. I know it might sound a little gimmicky, but use it naturally. If there's only a certain amount of people you can work with, tell them that. Because that is very important, that you are now positioning yourself as a transparent guide, and most importantly, you're setting the expectation, and on top of that, they're getting that little itch to maybe say yes, if it means they're missing out. Risk reversal. You have to have some sort of commitment reverse Uno card. So this is some way to think about it in some sense of like, hey, you know what? Cancel anytime, no contracts. Think of what they like to put into the mix as their objections, grab that and flip the script. So if they say like, hey, is this going to disrupt our organization? Are you going to have to come in and mess with all these computers? Say, you know what? It's only going to take 8 hours for us to get to that point, and that means we're going to cover your cost of doing business for that whole day. Have 2 days of paid vacation or something like that. What are they objecting to, and how can you implement risk reversal elements? Social proof. I don't know why a lot of MSPs don't leverage this, but if you have testimonials, if you have video ones, those are the best. If you have Google reviews, if you have Yelp reviews, if you have LinkedIn referrals, if you have Glassdoor, if you have an award, if you are part of something that demonstrates that you are a high value business, put that front and center. Put it into your offer. Hey, we have over 100 plus 5-star reviews. Screenshot those, paste those into your pitch deck. Take that award that you won from some obscure chamber event. Take that one random guy who loved your process on LinkedIn. Take it, screenshot it, put it into your deck or your pitch or your offer. Guarantee. This is a huge one. This is the biggest one, honestly. You don't need to overthink it, but if you stand by your product or service, put it in writing. If you do not see any improvement for 30 days, we work for free until you do. That is something where you have to really, really think about what is the biggest objection that they're concerned about. How can you make it such a no-brainer that they would have to say yes? Hey, if in 30 days you're not satisfied with our services and IT infrastructure, we'll give you a full refund plus $1,000 on top of that just for wasting your time. They would be stupid not to say yes to that, and I know that you're going to be concerned about the risk involved, but if that's what it takes for you to get 1 or 2 more contracts every month, then so be it. But think about ways you can integrate a guarantee in there. Now, if you're ready to make this real, here's what your first actionable items are. Build your offer. Go through this again. Make sure you have all of your value statements and you stack those enhancers that we talked about. Plug it into your system, whatever funnel, whatever lead attraction system, whatever outbound marketing campaign you're cold calling, plug it into that and follow up each time. Every time that they have those interactions, you should be incorporating this offer to come back to it over and over again. And then you need to book and pitch on autopilot. If your pitch is doing the heavy lifting for you, if you have a compelling offer and a compelling niche, this should be doing about 80 to 90% of the sales process for you. Now, if you're still struggling, you can also click on the link in the description or the pinned comment, and we could do a one-on-one session where I'll break down this for you on how to actually get those prospects and also convert them for you. Because if you don't have a system right now to attract them, which means that you're probably going to local events, means that you're probably doing cold calling, means that you're sending 100 different emails and LinkedIn DMs and maybe even doing direct mail. That's not how successful MSPs do it. They build a system that attracts the right people to them, gets their information, and gets them to book calls. If you don't have that, click on that link. But I hope this was informative to you as an MSP, managed service provider, IT professional, whatever your label is. I also put out videos like this every single week, so be sure to subscribe and also share this with whatever your associates are. I think it would really help them if they've been struggling to sell a lot of their technical services. But that's all I have for you today. Until then, I'll see you next time.